Hey guys, this is Abhishek from gadgetsreviews.com, and today we have three phones which are very much identical in terms of the look and feel, especially in terms of the build as well. They are very much identical to each other. We have the iPhone 6 with us, we have Samsung Galaxy Alpha, and we have an iPhone 5. We are going to compare all these three phones on the basis of build quality, on the basis of display and other things. Let's start this comparison now. Now we are going to compare the Samsung Galaxy Alpha with an iPhone 5 and an iPhone 6 in terms of the overall physical form factor and the build quality. If we compare the Samsung Galaxy Alpha with an iPhone 6, we can see we have aluminum which is being used on both of these phones on the edges, and at the back side we have aluminum which is metal over there, whereas we have plastic over here on Samsung Galaxy Alpha. And when it comes to the thickness is something which is slightly thinner over here on Samsung Galaxy Alpha as compared to an iPhone 5. So Samsung Galaxy Alpha is definitely thinner as compared to iPhone 5, which we can easily notice. In terms of the weight as well, this one feels slightly lighter in terms of the weight, but although both of them are very much near in terms of the weight as far as the overall weight is concerned and the form factor is concerned, the form factor is slightly better over here because this is a better phone for one-handed usage. Although Samsung Galaxy Alpha having a 4.7-inch display, this one is also pretty decent for one-handed usage. You can actually reach almost every part of the screen without any issues. So this one gives you a bigger display as compared to an iPhone 5, which is again smaller in terms of the display size. Although this is better phone for one-handed usage, but this one is good enough, there is no problem, and it gives you a better display as well. The display clarity on this device is also high definition, although this one also has retina display, so both of them are good in terms of viewing angles as well as other things, but colors are slightly better reproduced over here on the Samsung Galaxy Alpha, which is something which I have seen. Because again, when it comes to the display technology, over here on Samsung Galaxy Alpha is Super AMOLED, which gives you better color production, and the black are also very nice, although the white is slightly kind of pale yellowish on the Super AMOLED display which we have seen from Samsung till now. So talking about the differences, I would say this device is definitely better than iPhone 5 in terms of a bigger display size. You get a very good nice form factor. In case build quality is something, or something metal is something more important for you, then you have more metal being used on this phone as compared to metal being used on this one. But this is also good. It has a 12 megapixel camera over here at the back side. We have an 8 megapixel camera over here, but the cameras are doing pretty decent job on both of these two phones, and we will show you that in detailed comparison later on. We do have LED flash over here on both of these phones, and we have additional heart rate sensor on this phone. However, it is not very useful in day-to-day usage, but you do have an additional sensor on the Samsung Galaxy Alpha as compared to an iPhone 5, which does not have the same. Now if we compare the phone with the iPhone 6 definitely look much more premium, and I would say better in terms of the looks as compared to Samsung Galaxy Alpha. It has a complete metal look at the back side as well. We have metal being used over here on this phone, whereas on this device at the back side we have polycarbonate plastic which is being used. Talking about the camera, we have 8 megapixel camera which is slightly enhanced as we have seen on iPhone 5 and 5s, and here we have 12 megapixel camera over there. When it comes to the camera quality is pretty good on both of these phones. When it comes to the display is something which has gone better on iPhone 6. It has got a 4.7-inch display now, which is good, and this device also have 4.7-inch display. So in terms of the display size, both of these devices are same. So display size remains the same, but colors are slightly better over here, but they are not looking bad at all on the iPhone 6 as well. Although this one has an IPS LCD display panel, this one has a Super AMOLED display panel, so colors are maybe more sharper, more colorful on this device. Although black are also good, but white is kind of pale white on this device as compared to the white which we have seen on iPhone 6. So this is how the difference actually get compared. When it comes to the pixel density remains the same. We have 720p resolution on this device, we have 720p resolution on this one as well, which is the same. We have a touch ID sensor which is far more responsive and better to use on the iPhone 6 as compared to the buggy kind of fingerprint sensor on the Samsung Galaxy Alpha and other Samsung phones. So this one is much better to use for purchasing application and also for unlocking the phone. This one works around 2 times out of 10 times, and this one works around 9 times out of 10 times, which is very good. So this Touch ID sensor on the iPhone is definitely far more better than the fingerprint sensor, at least as of now on the Samsung Galaxy L5. And we talk about the bottom. If we talk about the connectivity and the ports, we have the loudspeaker, which is fairly loud on iPhone 6, which is slightly louder than Samsung Galaxy Alpha, which we have seen. And over here we have the lightning port, the micro USB port, we have primary microphone over there, we have a big primary microphone over there as well. We have 3.5mm audio jack, whereas the 3.5mm audio jack is actually on the top. When it comes to the SIM card connectivity, the SIM card connectivity is inside over there. After removing the plastic back cover, you can insert a micro SIM. On this device it will take a nano SIM, as it has been since iPhone 5. And over here we have the button, the power and sleep key. The power and sleep key are metallic on both of these phones. In terms of thickness, I can say that both of these phones are fairly thin in terms of thickness, although the camera is slightly bulging out from Samsung Galaxy Alpha as well as from iPhone 6. So in terms of camera bulge, it is there on both of these two phones, but in terms of thickness, I can say that both of these phones are fairly thinner, and very much in terms of thickness they are closer to each other. I would say iPhone 6 feels slightly more thinner as compared to the Samsung Galaxy Alpha which we have with us, and this is the case as of now at least. And iPhone 6 definitely looks much more premium to hold in one hand, although the bezel is slightly thicker on iPhone 6 as compared to Samsung Galaxy Alpha. If you compare it, you can see that the height of the iPhone 6 is more than the Samsung Galaxy Alpha, and if you compare the width of it, if we place both of them together, I can say that the width of the iPhone 6 again is slightly more than the Samsung Galaxy Alpha. Not only the height, but the width is also high. So bezels are definitely slightly thicker on iPhone 6 as compared to Samsung Galaxy Alpha, but both of these phones are looking good in terms of the overall form factor. In terms of the weight as well, this phone is around 115 grams. This is also fairly light, very much near to the weight of Samsung Galaxy Alpha. So even when the iPhone 6 actually has 172 gram in terms of the weight, but still this phone is fairly light. When you hold this phone in one hand, it does not feel that heavy, although this one is slightly lighter. But in terms of comparison, I can say that both of these phones are good. This one feels slightly heavier, but you may not be able to distinguish in between the weight unless you hold both of these phones together. Both of them are fairly light when you hold them in your hand. Let's take a look at the camera performance on both of these two phones. I will take a photo of this particular battery over there, and let me just take this photo, and I will take the same photo with Samsung Galaxy Alpha as well. So we have taken both of these photos and I can show you both of them. So over here we can see that the details are very nicely captured on Samsung Galaxy Alpha when it comes to this photo, and colors are also being reproduced very nicely. There is slight amount of oversaturation in terms of color production, I would say. On this photo, the subject is looking as it is looking in the normal natural scenario. This is how it looks, and the color production is being done nicely over here as well. The details are clear on both of these phones. Both of them has very good camera, and details are slightly better. Details are slightly better on Alpha photo as compared to the photo which we have taken on iPhone 6, and this is something I would like to tell you, that the camera is slightly better over here, especially for macro shots. But in normal day-to-day shots, I would say iPhone 6 camera is far more easier and far more precise in terms of color production when you, as compared to the camera which we have on Samsung Galaxy Alpha, which is also pretty decent. But I would say the camera is good on both of these phones. For macro shot, this one is actually better. You can say for daylight shot, this one is better. So these are all the differences which we wanted to tell you in between the Samsung Galaxy Alpha and iPhone 6 and iPhone 5. I would say Samsung Galaxy Alpha is a very premium looking Android phone, which is definitely inspired from the design which we have seen on iPhone 5 and iPhone 4. But again, when it comes to the build, it does lack somewhere, which is the plastic at the back, whereas we have metal on the back on the iPhone 6 as well as on iPhone 5. So it is very much closer to these two phones in terms of build quality, but not exactly the same. This is something I would like to tell you.